Yo, what's up? This is part 2, Factor 7 segment.
Yeah.
GRITS Throwback series. I'm Coffee Jones.
I'm on the 5 to
We
my
got
car.
a very special guest here.
Oh yeah.
Shoe shine boy.
That's
the
your boy.
VERBS
VERBS in
International.
the
What's going
house.
on, people?
Place. Definitely a big part of being a part of the Factors album and just making that segue even from when we first came out, man. You know, how about this? How about you tell us a little bit about your experiences? You know, you can even go into the little history about how you became a part of the Factors.
Motorcycles everywhere. That's how we do it. We about to drag race after this.
Factors of the 7. Man, honestly though, seriously, all jokes aside, for me it was just a landmark moment. I think just for me personally, and just even being a part of what these guys were birthing at that period of time. I mean, I was surprised they let me talk on the record that much all together, but just the process itself, artistically, just being able to grow and be in the studio all at the same time, and just having the opportunity to churn out songs. But I think even more so, and I don't know what you guys talked about on the first half, but just even where we were all together, just as men at that point, and then what was going on as far as like just growth and transformation, made its way onto I think a lot of the songs on the record, and I think that's what made it what it was also, to where, you know, for all of us, it was just kind of that record was cornered and turned, and growth artistically took place.
It's like a brotherhood on that record. You know, it's like we were getting more into the accountability groups and all that, and really understanding, you know, what it was, and just trying to, you know, walk that life of faith. You know, we dug in deep, you know, in our home lives, in our personal lives. I mean, we was boys for real. I mean, it wasn't just on wax, you know, on record. Like, we was really holding each other down outside of all that. So we were just growing together.
If I can remember correctly, we actually got Factors of the 7, that title, that name from VERBS.
Oh yeah.
And you know,
You said got, really say stole is what the proper word is.
look, man, for the record, we took it. All right,
He's always
I
been
didn't see a check for it.
we
You know
just
what I'm
took
saying?
it. We actually VERBS gave that name to it, the Factors of the 7. That was something. That's one of his major contributions to, you know, to the album and just to the whole thing. Besides just his presence, you know what I'm saying. And what people don't know is VERBS actually was our first official paying booking promoter in Phoenix.
Nah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? We did a show that was with T-Bone,
Janky promoters.
Twins. Who else was there? Soup was there. I mean, like all the cats from LA.
It was like
there.
hip hop cocoon.
Yeah, it was crazy.
All
It was
of it.
crazy. But that was our very first paying show of dealing with an actual promoter, and it just so happened that he actually spent a lot of his time with us, and we was kind of like, we was the new kids, as you will, to the scene like that. But I mean, that's where we kind of built our relationship. It's just from that show, you know, and which was crazy. Which I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I can rock with this dude. And then of course he introduced us to the Inner Gate Dwellers, which is the rest of the crew, and that you guys here for you enthusiasts. If you go back and listen to Mental, it's on Mental, Screen Door. Then that's the album that they were introduced on. If I'm not mistaken, was it Mental? Yeah, Screen Door was on Mental. Yeah. So if you go back and listen to that, then you'll hear, you know, those were the beginnings.
Shout out to Rich Graves. We gotta give it up to Rich Graves.
50. Oh
He ain't
yeah.
He ain't here. We're gonna pour a little out for him later.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
in Phoenix. I'm just playing, y'all. He's still alive.
He alive and well.
Yeah, Rich is definitely one of the founding factors. You know, we can't leave Rich out.
And I gotta tell you how we met these cats. We was on tour with DC Talk.
Yeah.
And these dudes, you worked at the arena, right?
Yeah, we worked the Subway as sandwich artists.
And they snuck into the show. Yeah. One of them had a crush on a certain girl group out of Eden, but I won't say no names. Out of
Lisa.
Eden. Lisa.
But
That's how we all met. And you connected, of course. Next thing you know, we rapping and freestyling backstage.
But wait, pause though. Because the crazy thing was, we with our group, we were just kind of standing out in the lobby somewhere, and a guy, just a random guy and his son, actually had, I guess they called them gold passes. They free at last tour.
Yeah.
They were about to leave, and he saw us just kind of standing there. He said, "Hey, me and my son can't stay. We have these gold passes, you know, to be able to get backstage. You guys want them?" And there was, we only had 2 passes, but there was like 4 of us. But we said, "Yeah, we'll take them." And then right after that, we were trying to figure out, all right, well, who's gonna go back, who's gonna stay? And then, man, I think it was Joey Elwood who saw the dude give us the passes, and knew we only had 2, and he went and got us a couple more. And that's when we were able to go back downstairs and then hang out with these guys and exchange raps back and forth.
Instead of phone numbers, we exchange raps.
Yeah.
Like, here's my rap. Can I get your rap?
Man, that's crazy, man. But yeah, man, it was all organic, very organic. How we met up and came together, and then we just really kind of stuck together from that point on. Because probably it took about a year or 2 years from there, and then they was living with us.
They relocated to Nashville. Like, we want to do this music thing. I'm like, hey, let's go.
So that's when we started. We was like, yo, come with us. I mean,
y'all hopped in the van and drove over the world.
And did it. Made that
Hopped in
2-day
the van.
trip.
Your home's a Bel Air.
So that's how deep that history goes with us and VERBS. It's like he wasn't just like this dude that was just a hanger around or a towel waver, as we would call him. You know, he was actually that was somebody who we built that was our brother. And so as he said, a lot of growth you heard in the Factors album. I mean that's how that album was. It was a milestone for us as men and as artists. Because I mean that album has a lot of emotion in it. It had a lot of feelings, a lot of, you know, it was real. I mean, it wasn't we wasn't going for radio hits. It wasn't none of that. It was just, we just gonna go do a record. And that's what we did, man. And it came out, I mean, great. Most of our fans, I would say 90% of them say that's our that's our classic. Like, that's our #1 album that everybody likes. That kind of stamped us in there. And I can't say I don't agree with them. I definitely agree with them. You know what I'm saying? It was groundbreaking.
That record was all about MCing. Period. Beats and raps. Straight up. It wasn't about the pop hits and hooks, none of that. It was about just using our talents. You know, God-given talents and just going hard with it. Making a statement and letting them know we here.
But guess what? VERBS is actually for people. If you don't know, he actually is the one who's doing the hook on Alcoholic Plagiarism, which is another favorite that we always hear. That's like people's one of their most favorite songs. That was VERBS on the hook. That my riding, it's like a party inviting. That's all him. So
It took me like 3 hours to get that hook out.
now it did. Now I wasn't gonna tell it on him, but since he gonna bring it up, yeah, it took him a minute to get it the way that it really needed to sound. And I don't know. I think that's the day him and Kaufman, they might have almost fought. They might have almost fought.
I wrote the hook, but his voice is what I needed to sell the hook.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's how music works. Sometimes you write something, you may not be the best performer.
Right.
One thing I remember is, especially a song like, you had US Open, and you had songs like Fragmentation.
Yeah.
But with the collective that was in the studio, you had everybody. You had DJ Form bringing his piece. You had Otto in there on that one?
Yep.
Otto bringing their piece. And so everybody was putting stuff on the table. We were just trying to fit it all together to where I think we are trying to think outside of the box, but not overthink outside of the box. We just say, all right, hey, what do we have that can make you something cool and different? So you definitely have your more, like Bone was saying, your more introspective, this is what's happening in life right now, and then you just have your fun songs where we were just being goofy and trying to figure out how can we really make this song work, you know. So a song like US Open, obviously we're having fun with that one. It's kind of paying homage to the old school. When I say old school, like back further, your early 80s, old school stuff. As far as the hip hop era back then, or what would be most people call the golden era of hip hop. So, so that was kind of a tribute to that. With Dax's Journey on there. Yeah, that was. Again, it was a commentary on at that point in time what was going on, and I don't know if you guys were talking about that either, but just and that was a moment where you're almost like in a similar cycle right now as far as what's going on in the whole Christian hip hop, or whatever we're calling it now, community, gospel rap, rap Christian, whatever we say to describe that genre. Pretty much the inception of those kind of topics and issues were happening then, and that was a lot of our commentary, because you kind of had your two sides of the spectrum with your tunnel rat camps and then your cross movement camps and other guys who were going on there. And we're just kind of speaking into all right, what are we doing with this music that we're calling gospel rap? Why is it significant to the culture at large? So we just speaking on what was happening at that point in time.
But you know what I do want to ask is how I want to ask Verbs a question about recording his first record, syllabus and everything, like that whole experience. How was that for you? Because that was around that same time and era, you know, you started kind of getting ready to start working on that stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it was on the tail end of them mixing Factors is when we started recording the syllabus. And it's funny because, I came up here with you guys, it was like 1995, 19 years old, from Phoenix, Arizona, just really feeling like a guy sitting here that kind of had a vision of what he wanted to do for the music. So by the time we got to syllabus, it was like everything was settling in. And I remember everything from somebody had broke into my car, stole my backpack that I had all of my lyrics for the record that we were about to record for the syllabus. And I was like, man, these are songs I had for like a few years. I was just waiting to lay down, and all of it was gone. And so, but I remember at that point somebody said, maybe ask God to give you something new. And so that's what I did. And so most of those songs, pretty much most of those songs that you're on the syllabus are a product of that. But I was just glad to be in the studio somewhere, put these songs down like officially, and just I was strictly moving to Nashville. I didn't even realize how much business music was. It was just for the fact that we could make music, lift up the name of Christ, and we could do it with other people that want to do the same thing. And then, so a lot of that record was just from that heart of saying, man, I've been waiting to do this. Let's go. And again, to do it in an official kind of professional setting and all of that, you're like a kid in a candy store. And just taking what you got, putting it down and giving it your best shot, and then finishing the record and be like, man, I don't know if I like any of that. I can do it better. Let's go back. But no, that was, for me, that was a process. It was, again, a lot of songs that I had stirred in my heart for years, and being able to finally get them down and get them out for other people to hear. And my hope was whoever listened to the record or any of those songs or the content of the songs, one, that they were just encouraged by it and then edified by it, and that maybe somebody would come to know who Jesus is even in a more real way through those songs. So yeah, obviously when it's your first work, like I said, you finish it and always look back and say, man, I could do this better. So from that point going forward, it was like, all right, I wanted my last record to be the worst record I ever done, and then that way keep trying to develop from there. But it all really started again. I'm glad that I was able to go from the Factors experience and recording that whole process into the syllabus. Because like I said, again, it's everybody contributing. There were days I was in the studio, by myself, with me and I think Todd at the time, whoever was engineering or producing. But then the fun was when you were in the studio with everybody and actually having that synergy there and really sharpening and challenging each other. Because whether it was somebody else's verse that you heard them record it, and you were like, all right, I need to go upgrade my verse, or the track switched up a little bit, and you were like, man, I think I could write something better to that. It just kept everybody sharp. Yeah. Like they say, iron sharpens iron. And it wasn't competitive. It was just out of the heart of, man, we want to make this song good. We give it our best. So we were able to take all of that and then into each album and record after that. So.
Yep. Definitely, man. We definitely appreciate y'all for being, part of this Factors Roundup with us. And definitely stay tuned as we move into the grammatical era, the grammatical revolution. Again, Bonafide Teron Carter,
VERBS,
Coffee Jones, hello.
GRITS, Factors of the 7. We out here.